Hello, my name is Dwayne Richardson, and this is my Capstone project that I'm going to be audio recording. So, a little background about myself. Obviously, my name is Dwayne. I also go by DJ. Last name is Richardson. I graduated from my high school, which was John W. North, in 2013. I played basketball there. My team went on to win the CIF championship in 2013. What I currently do now, I'm a coach in all sports. I coach t-ball, soccer, basketball, football, and volleyball. And I am currently in my first semester of my senior year at Cal Baptist University. So the first topic I'm going to be talking about is motivation. Now we have two pictures here. They're both Michael Jordan. Now, Michael Jordan, he's a household name. He's up there with anybody you want to talk about in sports, whether that be Jackie Robinson, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig. He's one of those types of legends. Now, what a lot of people don't know about Michael Jordan is he was actually cut from his high school basketball team. It's pretty funny. The greatest player of all time being cut from his high school basketball team. Shows you what a lot of these coaches know. Now, on this day, October 13th, 2012, I was actually cut from my high school basketball team. That's why I picked Michael Jordan as my person that I look up to for motivation. Now, if Michael Jordan could get cut from his basketball team and become the greatest player of all time, imagine what I could do. But it really affected me in a negative way being cut from my team. You know, basketball was all I knew growing up in school. The day I was cut from my high school basketball team still sticks to me to this day. October 13th, I remember it like like yesterday. It really made me want to quit basketball forever, and I just never thought that I wouldn't be considered good enough. I mean, not good enough to play for somebody's team, and it really affected me in a negative way. Now, coping with sports stress. Now, as I just mentioned, I was cut October 13th from my basketball team. As I mentioned before, basketball was everything I knew. Here we have three pictures of Kobe Bryant. One of him laying on a basketball just thinking, the other one with his gold medal from the Olympics, his 5 NBA championship, his MVP, finals MVP, and also his All-Star MVPs. And we have Kobe at the bottom looking very intense, so to speak. So the reason I picked Kobe was he had a lot of trials and tribulations. He had a very not life-threatening, but life-changing court case back in, I believe it was 2007. Yes, he was caught up with a situation, and he could have been facing jail time actually and not playing basketball. And the reason I picked him is because I can relate. Now, I wasn't caught up in any sort of legal issues, but I had been cut from my basketball team, and I actually went to transfer schools. And it was pretty tough for me, you know, dealing with a new environment. And, you know, I'm a newcomer on the team, so of course I wasn't going to play. And it felt like at some point in time that I made the wrong decision, you know. I wasn't playing at the school that I transferred to, so I was kind of wondering, why did I even leave? Like, and it made me think, like, is basketball really for me? Like, should I pursue this? And so those were a few of the trials and tribulations I faced, as Kobe Bryant did when he had his legal troubles back in the day. Someone who influenced me and really helped me out through these trials and tribulations would happen to be my father. He believed in me when no one else was. He was at all the games watching me not play, just sitting there, and he would always tell me, your moment's coming, just be ready, just be ready. You never know when you're going to get called. He was always my shoulder to cry on, even in difficult situations. Like, I wouldn't be playing or I would get into it with the coach, and my dad was always my outlet and was the reason why I continued to play basketball and pursue it. Leadership. This is great. As you can see, I have a picture of John Wooden and a couple of quotes from him. A strong leader accepts blame and gives the credit. A weak leader gives blame and accepts the credit. Now that speaks volumes. Another quote we have over here says, the most powerful leadership tool you have is your own personal example. John Wooden. Now, the quote I just read, that means basically you are exactly, excuse me. The quote we have here is, it's basically saying how you are just in general when nobody's watching. You're yourself. You're your real person when nobody's watching. So if you're out just, doing a deed just because the kindness of your heart, that's just who you are when nobody's looking, opposed to, oh, you're doing a good deed when there's a bunch of people around watching you and cameras. That's not really who you are. And this other one that says a strong leader accepts blame and gives the credit, opposed to a weak leader gives blame and accepts the credit. That's pretty much pointing the finger at somebody and putting all the blame on someone else. Where it takes a lot of guts to take the blame for someone else and put it on your shoulders and try to improve the situation. So what I use to lead, as I mentioned before, I do coach sports. I use the John Wooden pyramid. It's really, really good, and it helps, especially coaching wise. You can't get up all the way to competitive greatness without having industriousness, friendship, loyalty, and cooperation. Every single one of these blocks are very important, and you can't move forward. You can't move up without using each and every one of these blocks. You can't just jump in skill and pass up all the rest of the blocks without, going one by one and going all the way to the top. So, types of coaching and leadership. Now, there's 4 different kinds of them. There's autocratic, which is taking no account for other people's wishes or opinions. You're pretty much being the boss of everybody and not listening to what people have to say. Behavioristic, as an approach to get the best out of an individual. So this is one of those coaches that push you to your maximum potential. Humanistic is focusing on one's growth and personal improvement. Now that's just more like a personal trainer type of thing, that helps get the best out of you, sort of like a behavioristic, but just on a more personal level. And the democratic is one that I use myself, self-coaching approach based on the group or team suggestions. Now, how I apply these leadership styles, I use 2 out of the 4 that I've mentioned. As you can see, I have a couple pictures of myself directing the children in the correct way, or throughout the correct drill. I use, a physical example to show them what I'm doing. So, democratic. Right here I have an image of the Golden State Warriors. As you can see, the guy in the gray suit, that would be Steve Kerr, who is the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. Now, you see Andre Iguodala with the coach's clipboard. Now, Steve Kerr is the head coach, but Andre Iguodala, who has the clipboard, is a player, and that pretty much symbolizes what a democratic approach is for coaching. You're a player's coach. You let everyone on the team's voice be heard. You come to agreements as a group rather than dictating, and you really emphasize team. Now that's very important, especially, when you're coaching a team, you're trying to win. It's very important that you involve everybody, and everyone knows this quote, there's no I in team, so everyone's voice heard and everybody matters, which is a great way to approach, coaching, and a great leadership method. Behavioristic is another style of coaching that I use. It's up to me as the coach to learn how my players are. Now, if you look over to my right, there's a picture of me with all my team in a bunch of prone positions. We are doing push-ups, and I'm pushing my players to the best of their abilities to get them done. And behavioristic really helps a lot. It really builds chemistry, and it helps, see what your maximum potential is for your players. And another thing it helps out is how we adjust to get more effort out of an individual, like I just mentioned, and what I can do personally to keep a consistent full effort. It's very important that every time your player steps on the court or on the floor that they're giving their all, no matter what. So, to go back to my story, like I mentioned, I was cut in high school and my coach told me I wasn't good enough. As you can see in the middle picture here, we went to the CIF championship and we won. In the picture over there is me shooting a layup over a couple of players. That picture to the left with me wearing the white was actually shot in Edmonton, Canada. It was a really fun trip and it was a great way to, enjoy the game of basketball after not being able to play for a little while. And lastly, here's a few of my newspaper articles that I was featured in. And it just is such a blessing to go from not being good enough, saying you're not going to make it, you can't play basketball, you're never going to make my team, to being in newspapers on the front page and actually winning a championship. It's a true it's a true blessing. So my message to everybody would be don't ever give up. If someone says you can't, prove them wrong. And that's what I did, and that's what I use as my motivation. And this concludes my project. Thank you.